unflinching faith, the steadfast belief in the Wild West show that shot Annie Oakley into the history books. The churning mass of ripples seemed to suck the life out of Buffalo Bill Cody's dreams. As the little ship sank lower and lower, so did the hopes of Cody and a sad-eyed group of Western showmen. While they watched the surging waters draw their Wild West show cargo vessel deep into a watery grave, Cody could see his show business dreams also swirling into oblivion. "Outfit at bottom of river," he would despondently telegraph his partner and financial backer Nate Salisbury. "What do you advise?" "Go to New Orleans, reorganize, and open on your date," Salisbury wired back. His unflinching faith in their new venture would not only save the beloved and rowdy Wild West show, it would give birth to the legendary career of the most famous sharpshooting lady the world would ever know, Annie Oakley. Following his partner's guidance, Buffalo Bill set about rounding up more wagons and props for the unique outdoor spectacular. 8 hectic days later, Cody and his cowboys, Indians, elk, buffalo, and all the rest opened for business at the 1884 New Orleans World's Industrial and Cotton Exposition, right on schedule. The good luck that would eventually visit them was, unfortunately, very well concealed. The show met with 44 days of gloomy weather, not a great start for an outdoor show. The spark that eventually lifted the gloom was struck during a visit from some of the Sells Brothers circus performers. The circus had wrapped up its tour in New Orleans, and several of the entertainers had heard about Cody and Salisbury's new exhibition. Among them were a famous sharpshooter and her manager, Annie and Frank Butler. Annie, born Phoebe Ann Mosey, would adopt the show name Annie Oakley, reportedly taken from a neighboring town of Oakley, Ohio. She and Frank were impressed with the event and inquired about working with the show. Cody thanked them for their interest, but told them he already had plenty of shooters, including the then-famous Captain William Bogardus. The next year, though, Bogardus left the show, and Annie and Frank wasted no time in renewing their request to join. Still skeptical, Cody and Salisbury agreed to include Annie in a show in Louisville the next month on a trial basis. 15 minutes into her performance, the trial was over. Annie was hired on the spot. Contrary to popular depiction, Annie was not a tomboy. She was, in fact, quite the young lady, curtsying to the crowd as she left the arena. There was one thing, however, that set her apart from other young ladies. Little Sure Shot, as her friend Sitting Bull would christen her, was exactly that. One of the surest shots who ever cocked a hammer. The Wild West show audience's mouths would gape almost in unison as they watched her shoot a dime that Frank tossed into the air 90 feet away. Their gaping mouths would remain open when she hit the thin edge of a playing card at the same distance, peppered it with 5 or 6 holes as it settled to the ground. Then they would snap closed under bulging eyes as Annie shot off the ashes from her husband's cigarette as he smoked it. Annie's sharpshooting skills, though, weren't developed to entertain rowdy crowds. They were the result of necessity. Her childhood was steeped in poverty and sorrow. Her mother was widowed twice and unable to support her family of 7 children. Sadly, she was forced to put young Annie in the care of a superintendent of the county poor farm. While there, she learned to embroider and sew. In fact, Annie would eventually become nearly as proficient at embroidery as shooting. The next phase of her life would dip into darkness. She was placed with a local couple who were abusive to her both physically and emotionally. In her later writings, Annie never revealed their names, but referred to them as the Wolves. Finally, Annie managed to run away and return to the poor farm. Then, at the age of about 13, she rejoined her mother, who had remarried for the third time and was in a little better financial shape. Still, times were hard, so young Annie found a way to contribute to the family budget. She taught herself how to shoot the family's Kentucky rifle and began to bag game and sell to local shopkeepers. As Annie picked off game with increasing accuracy, the sales mounted up. Eventually, at 15, she was able to pay off their entire mortgage. "Oh, how my heart leapt with joy," she would recall in her autobiography, as I handed the money to Mother and told her that I had saved enough to pay it off. Her game shooting ability would also give birth to Annie's matchless career. When the well-known sharpshooter Frank Butler planned a performance in a small town near Cincinnati, he placed a notice in the paper seeking local shooters to compete with him. That 1885 Thanksgiving Day contest would forever change both his and Annie's life. As the petite young lady with a rifle and pink sunbonnet introduced herself, Frank reportedly greeted her with a laugh. As Annie's steel-nerved aim hit one target after another, Frank's laughter dissipated. When he missed target number 25 and Annie nailed hers, there was no sign of humor left on his face. Fortunately, his wounded male pride was soon overcome by his attraction to the perky young sharpshooter. Despite his slightly embarrassing loss, that contest would lead to a happy lifelong marriage and partnership. Frank would continue to exhibit his shooting skills from time to time, but he primarily fell into the role of Annie's manager. He would help to engrave the name of Annie Oakley deep into the annals of the early West, and especially Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. That show, and Annie's worldwide fame, might never have existed if it weren't for financial backer Nate Salisbury's unflinching faith.